Skip Schumaker, who joined us now via Ballpark Cam. Skip, we appreciate the time. I'm going to ask, what did DeRosa tell you before we got on? DeRosa, tell him what you said?
I said, there's no way you're this good a manager.
He's right. Yeah, he's right.
Skip, what has this experience been like for you, especially here recently when your team has been playing so well?
Well, I've learned a lot, definitely in my short time being a manager. I think a couple things have come to mind is having a really good staff around me. It's been huge, covering a lot of my blind spots. And a lot of the guys that I'm convinced of just love to play baseball in our clubhouse, and it's just been a fun time to come to the ballpark.
Skip, I remember your opening press conference, and it stood out because you were so genuine in that moment, and I feel like that's hard to do in that moment. What percentage of the job is what you thought it would be in that moment when you were sitting at the press conference?
Yeah, you think about that moment, as soon as Kim said, would you like to be the Miami Marlins manager, and that press conference was probably the most nerve-wracking, leading up to it with my family around and trying to think about what you're going to say. And I decided not to write anything down, just kind of, off the cuff and, come from my heart and what it meant to me and my family. And the fact that she believed in me to help this team win was a pretty special moment.
Skip, first off, you know how proud I am of you and watching you get this opportunity, and I knew you were going to run with it. But going down to Miami, for lack of a better term, there's been a malaise on that type of baseball and getting people in the yard. If you win, they're going to show up. For me, what has been your, turning moment? You have super athletes, but it seems like you're getting them to buy in to play as a team. When did you feel the vibe in the room start to shift?
I felt like a couple of the trades we had in the offseason really set the tone. Luis Arraez has been unbelievable, not only at the plate, obviously hitting 400, but inside the clubhouse. The personality that he has is infectious. And really, the staff that the pitching staff, the bullpen, I've heard all the time, you're only as good as your bullpen. That is true. Our bullpen has been unbelievable, starting pitching with Sandy and Brax and Luzardo. It's just been lights out, but I think it started with acquiring Luis Arraez and kind of setting the tone early on.
Skip, Jake Peavy, also big congrats. Super proud to watch and know somebody to walk into this role and have success. Big fan of what you're doing. I'm a big fan of how you start the game. Arraez, Soler. I see the shirt there. Talk about that shirt. Talk about that 1-2 punch the offense has provided. I love the fact that those two guys are 1-2 in your lineup.
Yeah, Kyle, our radio guy, Sully hit a big home run, and he decided to make the call. Sully's a bad boy, and it kind of caught fire inside our clubhouse and decided to make a shirt to make a little bit light of the situation. It was pretty funny, but Sully's been incredible. Having Arraez, it feels like he's on base, a couple times a game, and Sully right behind him. It feels like he's doing damage every other at bat. But I do think that, what the leadership that Sully's provided, Gurriel's provided inside that clubhouse for the position players to get everybody to buy in has been huge for a rookie manager. And if you don't have that leadership inside the clubhouse, our staff's message, really goes away. So I've been very fortunate to have those two guys that you mentioned, and plus a guy like Gurriel, with the message, going through them.
Skip, I asked this question to the guys. I'm curious what you think. What does Luis Arraez do better than a guy who's hitting 220? Is it a mindset? It seems like a simple question. Is it a simple answer?
This guy wakes up and hits. So I think, he literally wakes up and hits. He gets up and he hits off the tee or, wherever he goes before he comes to the yard, and then he comes here. And I think what has been so much fun for our staff to watch is he's so process-driven, and watching his routine, he sticks with it every single day, no matter, the highs or the lows. He doesn't have many lows, by the way, but, all the highs and lows. And then I think everybody else watching him do his routine and not go away from it. I think people have jumped in on those routines and bought in. It's like, if he's doing it, why am I not doing it? And I think when your best player is your hardest worker, it goes a long way.
Skip, as we mentioned, you and D-Row have history. You were teammates with each other back in the day, and we asked you a while back, what was it like to have Mark DeRosa as a teammate? We want to let people listen to that and then get your reaction on the other side. Check this out.
When you have DeRosa hitting his 6 or 7 hole, you know you're doing something with your lineup and with your team because most lineups he's hitting right in the middle, 3-4 hole, and it's saying something when you got a guy like DeRosa.
Yeah.
You were loving on me right there.
There we go. That is some.
We had a good time. Me, him, and Matt Holliday had a good time.
Yeah. You're a 3-4
the-
hitter? I wasn't aware D-Row was a 3-4 hitter.
No, I wasn't.
He is, he was, and I tell you what, that trade, I know he hurt his wrist pretty early on, but that trade changed the dynamic of our clubhouse right away. What a clubhouse guy. Obviously, you guys know who D-Row is and what he means, and we had 3 months of him, and I wish we had, a couple years together.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite teammates ever, and just fortunate to learn a lot from him.
Oh, that's
I want to ask you a question. The biggest fear of a new manager is aging quickly. And you're a guy, you lock in on your looks and your build. Are we still, especially with Soler, are you getting your workouts in and eating right?
I'm trying to. It's funny because when I would walk into the weight room when D-Row was with us, and he would do these squats with no weight on it, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "D-Row, you're kind of jacked." He goes, "Kind of jacked? Skip, look at me."
Yep.
And,
it's good to see
so
some things haven't changed.
Yeah, I always remember that. So yeah, you try to. I try to keep up with D-Row.
That's so good. That's so
on the
good.
biceps.
Man.
You got to lock in. Matty Holiday put everyone to shame in that
His
clubhouse
forearms
stuff.
are-
It was a joke.
Hey, Skip, I got one more for you. We saw D-Row manage Team USA.
Yeah.
Getting to be a first-year manager, what is advice? What's some unknowns? What's been the toughest part of the job so far? Is it I just think about letting your coaches coach. You're a great baseball man, not stepping in their territory, forming relationships with the players, relationship with front office, in implementing that on the field. What's some of the toughest parts of the job?
Yeah, I knew right away that I had to have a staff around me that I could trust. And Kim and her group allowed us to get together to hire people that I knew before or played with before around me that I could trust. And that's been the biggest thing for me is letting our guys coach, not micromanage them. And let them have a voice. It's just not my voice. Luis Urieta, my bench coach, has been amazing. And so I think, not thinking that I know it all, because I don't. I'm still learning. And then obviously the bullpen management has, it's been tough. But I've had Mel and the pitching staff helped me through that. So that's been, I think, maybe the biggest learning adjustment. But I got to tell you, I've been on different staffs, throughout the game. You have to have a really good staff around you that you trust. That's the biggest thing that I've taken away.
Well, it's certainly working for you. Congratulations. Real quick, what'd you eat for breakfast?
I had some eggs and coffee.
We going scrambled over easy? What are we going?
I always go mixed scrambled D-Row with the peppers and the turkey and the spinach. You try to knock the old man out. You told me that a long time ago, so that's what you're trying to do when you eat.
Well, Skip, we appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on all your success. Best of luck to you, and hopefully we can catch up with you down the road. Good luck today.
All right, big fan of your show, guys. Thank you for having me on.